Hello, CBC. Hello, hello, hello. Please have a seat. I'm honored to be with so many friends. The CBC, you put your trust in me. You've always had my back, and I never forget it. CBC Chairman Stephen Horsford, Terry Sewell, CBC Foundation Chair, and Leader Hakeem Jeffries. This evening's performers and hosts, Fantasia, Sherry Shepard, Roy Wood Jr. Roy has become a friend. He did the White House Correspondents' Dinner together. He hosted the White House Juneteenth event. Yesterday I was proud to host, and very proud, I mean it sincerely, the first ever White House brunch celebration of Black excellence. For more than 1,000 of you attended in this CBC week. And tonight, I'm honored to join your dinner tonight. Congratulations to tonight honorees, and thank you to all the CBC members, staff, alumni, including those who serve across my administration, including the former chair and former HUD Secretary, Marcia Fudge, and especially our incredible Vice President Kamala Harris. Best decision I made. We're also keeping our prayers, CBC Titans most recently lost, Ada Bernice Johnson, Donald Payne Jr., Sheila Jackson Lee. Their memories and their legacies. The legacy of the CBC remind me of a parable in Scripture. With just the smallest amount of faith, the size of a mustard seed, anything is possible. Our dreams, our wildest dreams of our ancestors, can take root and grow into bountiful and beautiful harvest to come. That's what I want to talk to you about very briefly tonight, what I see in all of you. As I've said before, inflection point comes around every 5 or 6 generations. One of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make now will literally determine the fate of the nation and the world for decades to come. We continue to be in the battle for the very soul of America. In 2020, I ran for president to redeem the soul of America, to restore decency and some dignity to the office of the presidency. I ran to rebuild the backbone of America, the middle class. And I ran to unite the country and remind ourselves, when we're together, we've got a damn thing we can't do. Together in 2020, we started that work by protecting our democracy. Kamala and I received 81 million votes in 2020, the most ever, led by Black voters all across America. And Donald Trump lost, became a defeated president. In the past 4 years, we showed democracy can deliver for our people. Donald Trump's failed presidency eroded trust in whether democracy could meet the needs of the nation. We know that trust was eroding long before he took office. What's democracy? If justice, opportunity, freedom are denied to too many people for too long. But Kamala and I made a commitment to you to prove that democracy is the way, to reject the zero-sum view of America that says, if you win, I lose. If you succeed, I fail. If you get ahead, I fall behind. Maybe worst of all, if I hold you down, I lift myself up. Instead of embracing the bigger and broader view of America, if any one of us do well, we all do well. With the help of the CBC, we went big and we went bold, and yes, the result, yes, we are better off today than we were 4 years ago. And I'm being very sincere when I say a big reason why the Congress boasts the highest number of Black members in American history. Together we've delivered one of the most extraordinary 4 years of progress ever. Future harvest, of endless possibilities. COVID no longer controls our lives. Together, we spearheaded the most equitable economic recovery in American history. Historic low black unemployment, record growth in black small businesses, with more money in the pockets, and we've cut back on child poverty for blacks in half. The racial wealth gap, the smallest in 20 years. And we're finally, I've been fighting for this a long, long time, we're finally reconnecting black neighbors that were cut off by old highways and disinvested decades ago. Removing every poisonous lead pipe in America, so every child in America can drink clean water without fear of brain damage. We're delivering affordable high-speed broadband, so no child has to do their homework outside of McDonald's parking lot. We're protecting and expanding Obamacare. And after all the years, I finally beat Big Pharma and significantly lowered drug prices for seniors. And before we're too long, we're going to make sure that's available to every single person in America, not just seniors. We're putting home ownership within reach. That's how we build generational wealth. We're making the most significant investment ever in climate, including the most significant action on environment ever. We relieved student debt for 5 million borrowers and a significant number of black borrowers. But I set out to do this a long time ago, finally got it done. We're investing a record $17 billion in HBCUs. We took executive action on police reform and continued calling for the law to be written as the law of the land. We started the process of reclassifying marijuana and pardoned thousands of convictions for mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using marijuana or have a barrier to a job, housing, loans, or other opportunities because of that. And something I'm really proud of. Together, we put the first black woman on the Supreme Court of the United States, as I promised I would. I'm excited to announce tonight that we selected the first class of Fulbright John Lewis Civil Rights Fellows, who will learn how to establish and protect freedom and justice and equity, not just at home, but around the world. There's so much more we're doing to help people walk into a life of generational wealth, to be the providers for their families, leaders in their communities, dreamers and doers of our nation. In fact, in just 4 years, the leadership of the CBC, we're making the most significant investment in black America ever in all of American history. Let's be clear. There are old ghosts in new garments trying to seize your power, and extremists coming for your freedoms, making it harder to vote and have your vote counted, closing doors of opportunity, attacking affirmative action and the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion, banning books, erasing history. My predecessor calls the insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol on January 6th patriots. But when peaceful protesters marched for justice for George Floyd, Trump wanted to send in the military, but they wouldn't go. He says immigrants, black and brown immigrants, poison the blood of our country. Right now, his running mate is attacking Haitian Americans in Ohio. It's wrong. It's got to stop. Any president should reject hate in America and incite, not incite it. Folks, to win this battle for the soul of the nation, we have to preserve our democracy. We must speak out against lies and hate, told for power and profit. We must show up. We must look to the future. And I'm looking to you to help lead the way. You've helped push us forward to be the country we say we are, a country of freedom, justice, and equality, proving that black history is American history. And black excellence is American excellence. Let me close with this. The Psalms teach us, and I quote, "I've been young and now I'm old," which is true. "And yet, I have not seen the righteous forsaken." I have not seen the righteous forsaken. In 1971, as a 28-year-old kid, I decided to run for the United States Senate because of segregation in my city, my state. 13 black members of Congress came together then to establish the Congressional Black Caucus. That same year, a founding member of the CBC began exploring the historic run for president. I knew Shirley Chisholm. I served with her. She was righteous. She planted bushes full of mustard seed of faith. In the course of the last 50 years, I've seen those seeds weather storm and stripe and blossom into something amazing. I've served as vice president of the first black president and former CBC member. I am president alongside the first black president and former CBC member. And God willing, she'll become the first woman of the President of the United States of America. And Akeem will become the first black Speaker of the House. But folks, we have work to do. So my challenge to you is to keep the faith and do the work. Because we know faith without works is dead. In this moment, I think of what Shirley said. She said, quote, "Freedom is an endless horizon, and there are many roads that lead to it." The last 4 years, I've been honored to stand by a true partner who's helped us lead to the horizon of freedom. A journey where character and public life still matters in America. Kamala Harris meets the highest standards of character. I've served with her. I know her. I trust her. And I'll be proud to stand on the steps of the United States Capitol and watch her take the oath of office as President of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kamala Harris for the people.
Good evening, CBC. Can we please give it up for our President Joe Biden? Oh, it's good to be back. Please have a seat, everyone. Please have a seat. I have to say, it is so good to be back. And let me just say about Joe Biden. Hello to all my Divine Nine brothers and sisters and my sorors. And to all my HBCU brothers and sisters. But let me just talk for a moment about Joe Biden. It has been the honor of my lifetime to serve as his vice president. And I'll tell you, I have worked very closely with him, whether we are in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. Joe Biden is always fighting for the American people. And I do know that history will show what we here all know. He has been one of the most transformative presidents in American history. And so I thank you, Joe Biden, for everything you are and everything you have yet to do. And thank you also to all the leaders of CBC, Chair Stephen Horsford, CBCF Chair Terry Sewell, and ALC co-chairs Troy Carter and Lucy McBath for your years of service to CBC and to our nation. I also want to thank Hakeem Jeffries, who will be the next Speaker of the House. Yes, he will. And nobody knows how to quote Biggie better than Hakeem. Assistant Leader Joe Neguse, thank you for your leadership. And I cannot go further without thanking the great Congressman Jim Clyburn. So tonight I must also speak the names of incredible leaders who were my friends, who were our friends, and with whom I had the honor of closely working over the years. Representatives Eddie Bernice Johnson, Donald Payne Jr., and Sheila Jackson Lee. And I know that their work will live on through ours. And finally, to all the members of the CBC, over the years, we have worked so closely together on so many important issues, from addressing the crisis of maternal mortality, to expanding access to capital for small businesses, to defending the sacred freedom to vote. And I thank you, CBC, always for that partnership and your leadership as a proud, I'm going to say still, member of CBC. So for more than half a century, everyone here knows the Congressional Black Caucus has served as the conscience of the Congress and of our nation. And as a proud former CBC member, I know firsthand America relies on the leaders in this room, not only for a conscience, but for a vision. The CBC has always had a vision for the future of our nation, a future where we can see what is possible, unburdened by what has been, a future where we fulfill the promise of America, a promise of freedom, opportunity, and justice, not just for some, but for all. And today, that vision, our vision, is under profound threat. While we move and fight to move our nation forward toward a brighter future, Donald Trump and his extremist allies intend to take our nation backward. They will give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, cut Social Security and Medicare, and end the Affordable Care Act, which the CBC fought so hard to pass. But we are not going back. We are not going back. No, we will chart a new way forward. We together have a vision of a future for our country where no person has to go broke just because they got sick. We have a vision that understands then the importance of strengthening the Affordable Care Act. Remember, they tried to name it Obamacare thinking people wouldn't like it? People love it. He wants to talk about people love it. People love the ACA. Even though the former president tried almost 60 times to get rid of it, it is intact, helping hundreds of millions of people in our country. We have a vision of our country where we understand that the access to health care should not be a privilege just of those who can afford it. It should be a right. And that is why together we cap the cost of prescription drugs for our seniors, and we'll cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans. We actually have a plan for health care, not just concepts of a plan. Concepts. We have a vision of a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. And so we will build, yes, what I call an opportunity economy, so every person has an opportunity to own a home, start a business, and build intergenerational wealth, including my plan to help create 25 million new small businesses in the next 4 years. Ours is a vision of a future where we protect our most fundamental freedoms, including the freedom to vote, which is why we will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. And we will continue to fight for the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do. Because we here know one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government should not be telling her what to do. And CBC, when you pass a bill to restore reproductive freedoms, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. So to continue to realize our vision for the future of our nation, we have some hard work ahead of us. But I know we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom and for the future. And now, the baton is in our hands. I truly believe that America is ready to turn the page on the politics of division and hate. And to do it, our nation is counting on the leadership in this room. So to everyone here, no matter what state or district you live in or represent, I thank you in advance for your work, the work you have done and will continue to do to register people to vote, and to get folks to the polls. Each of us has a job to do. And the bottom line is, we know what we stand for, and that's why we know what we fight for. And when the CBC fights, we win. I thank you. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Thank you, everybody.